And then we're going to close out with a pool party before we send the ladies home. So that's just a snapshot of what we're going to do when the ladies get here to the CLE next weekend.
Now, how many years have you guys had the national conference?
This is year 2 for us. Last year we
Okay.
was in Atlanta, and this year we are here. So I'm excited to be the host city this year.
Yeah, so how exciting is that? Because there's a lot of things going on. You know, the Urban League is here, the Links are here, the National Association of Black Journalists is having their national conference here. So, you know, Cleveland has a lot going on right now, and you guys are a part of that.
Absolutely. I'm super excited about it. The buzz is out. I think the city is excited. The city is excited to see who Black Women Love Football is. They just hear a lot of it. They see the posts from all over the country. So they get upfront and personal to actually see who Black Women Love Football is, what Black Women Love Football does, and what we're about. So I'm excited to be in the mix over the weekend. And get our name out there more.
Yeah. And Kate, you just came on. How you doing, Kate?
I'm wonderful. I'm
Yeah.
wonderful. I'm listening to all those things you got going on, Stacey. Girl, that's a lot of stuff.
I know, I
How
know.
are
We
you
tell them to
keeping
get
track
their
of
rest.
everything?
Right. We tell them to get their rest before they get to Cleveland because they're not
Yes.
going to get any rest before they get here.
Oh, for sure. It's
Yeah, I'm
crazy.
excited. I'm gonna make it out to a couple of things and cover for WOVU. So
I want
I'm
to go
excited
too.
to be
Let me
able to
know
get
when you're
out there.
going.
Huh?
I want to go too. Can I go? I mean, I'm not a black woman who loves football. I'm a woman who loves football. Does that count?
Close enough.
Right.
I'll go. Sounds like fun.
Close
It
enough.
is. We're gonna be amazing. I am super excited about all that we have planned. Our founder is amazing. She has a lot of surprises. She wakes up and sends me a text, do this, do that. So, right, it's wild. So it's gonna be a lot of things that we have planned for the ladies. I'm super excited for like the meet and greet alone. A lot of ladies are coming first time, coming solo. They don't know each other. So we have the meet and greet set up so they have to interact and meet each other. And when they leave, with a new sisterhood, new connections. You never know who can bless you in your business or whatnot. So that's how we have it
Hmm.
set up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rachel knows I used to write for a website called Archer Football. It used to be NFL Female, and the first time I met the ladies, there were 32 ladies, and we rented a house in Canton one year for Hall of Fame, and like
Okay.
24 of the ladies came, and none of us had ever met each other in person. And by the end of that 4 days, we were sisters. We still talk all the time. There's only four of us left, but I still talk to those ladies. When you have something in common like football, like you have things you can talk about, you have common ground, and then you find so many other things in your life that connect you. It's crazy how football brings you together, but then you form a real sisterhood.
Right.
Hmm.
So last year we did our first one in Atlanta and nobody knew each other, including the planning committee. We had talked online, talked, FaceTime, Zooms,
Yep.
and all of that. And then when we left exactly the same way.
Yeah. I met Rachel once at a football game, and look at us now.
No, no. How did we meet, Kate?
We were at the first time we met in person. I thought was at a football game or at Brown's camp. A whole bunch of people on Twitter told you and me that we should get to know each other because we were all at all the same events. And then
Yeah,
we just
and then
started
I
hanging
reached
out.
out to you and was like, "Hey, I'm going to be doing this show on the radio. I would love for you to be my co-host." And it kind of it's been 7 years now, Stacy. So kind
Oh
of went from
wow.
there. Going to be on
Right.
8 soon. So
Yeah,
it's been a lot
Congratulations
of
to both
time,
of
and
you.
we've
that's
had some
crazy.
adventures. We've had a lot of fun. So how did Black Women Love Football kind of begin, or like come into it fruition for you guys?
So, Black Women Love Football was created with just like 10 friends that were all in different places talking on Facebook about football. So then it was, oh, let's create a group. so that we can just chat and don't have to be looking for posts to talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's how the group formed, with like 10 people, and now we are 40,000 strong.
Forty thousand.
Yeah.
Oh
40,000
my
and still
God.
growing. Full
What?
LLC and nonprofit pending. So it's amazing. I don't think our founder, she says it all the time, that this is not what she had planned. This is not what it was supposed to be. She just wanted to talk football with her friends. And now here we are today. 40,000, doing events, doing give backs. We have sanctioned meetups all over the country. And so, yes, this is what we do.
And how did you kind of like get your like get involved?
So, our stories will be different. She's going to tell you a different story when you see her. But it was just, I seen where I could help her do some things at, and that's how I started. And it was not supposed to devolve into this, and so here I am. That's how I know. I ended
You
up being
know,
on a morning
I
committee.
yeah, I am a firm believer that if you open yourself up to things, God will put the right things in your path and he will
Absolutely.
lead you where he thinks you need to be. And I feel like he might have had a little bit of a hand in some of this.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
We got Luella and
Hey, Luella.
Susan and Donna and Denise, and all saying hey, and that they love their fam. They love their Black Women Love Football fam. So I love it. Hi, ladies. I hope to maybe meet you
So
guys this weekend. So, well, not this weekend, it's next
next
weekend.
weekend, yes.
Yeah, I'm
So
so excited.
Susan,
Like this weekend.
right. Yeah, don't rush your chat. I still got a few left things to do um to wrap this up. But yes, we are super excited. We are down to 10 days and we are counting. And yes, the excitement is growing.
Yeah. Now, how many women do you anticipate will be here? I know registration is cut off. So,
Yes, it is close to 150 women coming
okay.
from all over the country and beyond. We have a lady coming outside of the country.
What?
Yes, so they come from all over. They'll start arriving on Thursday
Mm-hmm.
and they will leave out on Monday. So we will be all over. I'm super excited. Some of us haven't seen each other since last year. So on Thursday, everybody from last year will get together. We'll have a 60 of us together, and then we'll officially kick off on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you have the most amount of women from Cleveland coming or Ohio?
So no,
What?
unfortunately, we came in second. No, I think, are we first? I think we're in second now.
Okay.
But so we didn't do cities, we did teams.
Okay.
By that, and so the Eagles was repping real hard this
Oh
year,
yeah.
but the Browns came in second. So like our top represented teams are the Eagles, Browns, Cowboys, of course, because you know they're everywhere, right?
They are.
I
Lord have
know, right?
mercy.
I know. They was trolling me. They've been trolling me real bad. Okay. The Cowboys, New England Patriots, and the Steelers was our top teams represented, but we have 22 teams, I believe, that are going to be represented this year.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
That's a
Tina.
lot.
Hey, Susan.
Yeah,
So I
that's a
see,
lot. And this is frankly a good time of year to come to Cleveland. You got a better shot at decent weather.
absolutely,
It
Mm-hmm.
might be a
absolutely,
little warm, but we can't have people coming here when there's going to be snow. So
exactly,
you've got a good
exactly.
time of
But
year.
where
Mm-hmm.
most of them are coming from, I think it's mild and they can appreciate our heat
Yep.
compared to their 90 plus weather. They kept saying, so what is the weather like? Because when we still had our heat on, they was like, it's 90 degrees, it's 80 degrees. I'm like, we still got our furnace on, girl. It's still cold in Cleveland. So yes. So yeah.
I turned my furnace off in March and I turned it on in November.
Oh my God, Rachel.
That's
See,
because you're cold, Rachel. You're cold.
I turned mine
I
off
got
May
3 blankets on my bed and
31st.
a window open, so
I'm trying to save me some money.
Yeah, they gonna charge you regardless. So hey, not gonna be cold.
Hey, Jamie. Jamie's
Hey
on
now.
here too. So let's get into, we said we was going to talk a little football with you. Um so what are your opinions, cuz I know me and Kate and we'll dialogue with you about it, but where are you at with the Browns right now? Training camp, I don't think the dates have been announced, right? Yeah, the dates came out. So obviously they're going to do it close to the end of July. There's no Greenbrier this year. So they went to Greenbrier 2 years in a row and opted to not go to Greenbrier. But just coming into this season, Stacy, where are you at with the Browns, and where do you think that they're probably going to finish at?
Um, Good question. So everybody know I'm a ride or die brown and orange girl. Um, and we can't get no worse than what we are. Okay. Let
Mhm.
me just say that. I am not uh I was questionable on the picks that we did and why we did them. Um And then I remembered that when we went to the playoffs the last time, Kevin ran that 12-man tight end kind of play to go. So I'm assuming he's going to run that again. What I question more so is how he going to set it up in this whole QB controversy that is brewing, and how they going to play that out, and who is going to be the final three. So that's more so what I'm interested in, and what is the offense gonna do. I think the defense is gonna do what the defense always does, and I hope they don't stay on the field as much as they do. But I'm optimistic that we're gonna win more than 3 games this year. I just need to see what them first preseason games look like and what that final roster is gonna look like. We got a tough um games though
schedule.
this
Yeah,
year. Our schedule is very tough. um Even with us going to London, Minnesota is already gonna be there a whole week. So
yeah,
I it's tough. We got Cincinnati first, and then we go to Baltimore. So it's a tough schedule for sure.
yeah. Rachel and I were discussing the quarterback room one day, and we were 20 minutes into it before either one of us brought up Deshaun because we forgot he was even on the roster because he hadn't been around, and I don't know what
Right.
he's going to do. I I have grave concerns about what they're going to do at the quarterback room. I think once they announce who the starter is going to be, we'll know if they're actually trying this season or not. Because I don't know if any of those rookies, either Dylan or Shador, if I want either of them starting week one. We got 2 division games to start the season. We got
So I don't.
Cincinnati and Baltimore. You need I feel you need Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett or Deshaun if he's actually able to play. You need somebody with a little more experience, I feel, to start the season when you're starting a division like that.
I agree. I don't think that it's gonna be them. I definitely don't want to see Kenny Pickett. I think it will be Flacco, honestly. Um, as hard as Deshaun is working to come back, and I've been watching him, I don't think he's gonna be in that first week coming back. Honestly, it's probably gonna be more so looking at week 6, 7. And that's when the real controversy is gonna come back, because he
Yeah.
really fighting for to get number one position back. Um, and I don't know. I think the media has hyped it up to be a controversy more than they have. Um, that's just my opinion of it. I
Yeah.
think those rookies are going to see some play, but I just think it's going to be later in the season. I would like to see what they look like later in
Yep.
the season, but definitely not week 1 or 2. And I'm sure we'll see them in preseason for sure.
Yeah. It's difficult. We got 5 guys who could make an NFL roster. And I think they're going to want to start the season with 3. What are you doing with the other 2? I
Correct.
mean, I have a lot of faith that Shador Sanders can be something special. if he gets his head on and learns the game and does what he needs to do. I watched Dylan Gabriel in Oregon. I'm sorry, I can't have a 5'10" quarterback. I can't. I can't.
I agree.
I can't do
I
it.
agree.
So I hope he looks really good in training camp, and that some other team has an injury and they make us an offer for him.
And then the other thing
You
I
know what I mean?
believe
Like,
also is in systems.
yes,
I believe in riding with my team. Even with Deshaun, I'm gonna ride with him because he plays for our team and I'm gonna support him 100%.
yeah,
I just don't think that Cleveland was the system for him. And you
agreed.
have to be able to play in this weather. You gotta be built for this division,
Yep,
and I just personally don't feel that Dylan is or Deshaun is, but they didn't necessarily give him the support when he came to Cleveland. Um,
yep,
I didn't understand why they drafted Dylan in the first place, but I have said it over and over again. I just don't believe our owners know football. I just believe they have money. But I also keep saying we have to remember that they was POS for the Steelers. Let's keep that in
yeah,
mind also. So
yeah.
that's again my opinion, and well, it's not reflective of the show, but that's just how I personally feel um as a Cleveland fan.
Well,
Yeah.
supposedly, Dylan Gabriel was drafted because he fits into the system that Kevin Stefanski wants to run. So that's why he pretty much got drafted, because I guess Kevin Stefanski sees him as a prototype quarterback that can run the offense that he wants to run. As Kate said, we talk about height a lot. And one of the things I usually judge by is how do you perform against Ohio State? They barely won against Ohio State. That first game, they only won by 1 point, and then in the second game, Ohio State went ahead and slaughtered him, because I look at that as
Yes.
basically you're
Yeah.
playing against the NFL defense. So when you play Ohio State, how are you looking against players that are eventually going to turn professional and kind of look professional and play a professional defense? So I kind of look at it. So if you don't perform well against Ohio State, I don't look at it as you're going to be a great quarterback or anything like that. But that was one of the reasons why he drafted him, because he fit the system. And then when it comes to Shador, it was kind of like, well, he's there, we might as well take him. But it's just kind of crazy to me how Shador, if they were going to go after Shador, why not? You could have had Shador and Travis Hunter, and that's the thing. Like, I kind of don't really understand when it comes to how the Browns kind of go about business. You could have both of those players, because you could have drafted Travis Hunter and came back and got Shador after he kept falling and stuff like that. And these players have worked together for years, and they had that instant chemistry and connection, because no matter who you have as your quarterback, who are they going to throw to? Yeah, Jerry Judy is great, but who's number two? I forgot what that the one receiver is that had a good game. I can't remember his name right now. He had a couple of good games, but that receiver room is one of the worst in the NFL
It's
as well.
horrible.
So who is he going to be able to throw the ball to? So
Cedric
those are
Tillman,
concerns too.
Cedric Tillman,
Tillman.
Cedric
Right.
Tillman,
David
thank you.
Bell, Deontay Johnson. I mean, and Joku better step up his game this year. We did draft a tight end out of Bowling Green, Harold Fannin Jr. He got
Right.
some height
Mhm.
to him. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
It's just some of the moves they made in the draft were very puzzling.
But
Very
I always
puzzling.
question Kevin decision making skills anyway. I have never been a fan, honestly. But just some of the stuff that he does. But I also feel like Njoku is not worth what we pay for, and the nerve to be asking for more money. You can't catch regular balls that should is just
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Is very questionable to me. So that offense has a lot of work to do. They do too much playing for me, but I don't feel like Kevin has strong leadership skills in the locker room, because they have too many locker room issues and it plays out on the field. Um, That's,
Absolutely, yes.
that's that, and we've seen it year after year after year. It shouldn't be optional for which quarterback you gonna play for.
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah. David
Completely agree.
Njoku is very inconsistent. And, one of the things is he's a drive killer as well,
Absolutely.
too. Him not being able to catch the ball. He remind me of Braylon Edwards. He can make the circus catch,
Yes.
but he can't make the 3rd and 5 for us.
Right.
So it's just like I just never been a fan of David Njoku, and I think he kills a lot of drives with his inability to catch the ball. He has some great catches, but he has more drops than he does catches. I don't know what his drop rate is. I had to get the percentage of that, but definitely has an inability to catch the ball, which is not good, and it's not good for your quarterback either. And if you talk about throwing, some rookies out there, that's not going to help his confidence, their confidence either. Somebody who's supposed to be a team leader and supposed to be, in this offense being a leader, he goes to wide receiver, he goes to tight end you that Travis Kelsey and George Kittle puts on, every year, I
Correct.
believe, and it's still, he's just ain't too inconsistent for me, and I don't want that killing the confidence of these young quarterbacks if they get in this season.
Well,
Right.
part of the problem we have on offense is third and long, third
Mm-hmm.
and 8. Like we, you can't be putting your receivers in that position. Stacey, you said something earlier that I really liked is they try to do too much. They get too fancy. Just get 3 yards. Give me 3, 4 yards. You'll move the chains. You got to have these aerial catches with one arm like OBJ used to do. And you got to do all these crazy things because the offense puts itself at 3rd and 10 and 4th and 10, and they don't have any choice but to try to do it. And they get a little too creative, and you can do that when you're the Philadelphia Eagles or the Kansas City Chiefs. But when you're at the bottom of your division, you just need to play smart football, and you need to keep it simple, and you need to move the chains.
And
And
and Kate, 2 years ago, I made a shirt that just said "Run the ball, Kevin," because I am clueless why you feel like you need to keep putting that ball in the air. Who is catching it? I mean,
right.
then we were having Coop that was going through his own issues. So I
Yeah.
have no, I agree 100%. Run it, keep it on the ground. Like, let's just get down the field. Because
Yeah, and that's
again,
supposed to be AFC North football, right? Because you're going to play in
correct.
weather. You're playing in, even if it's not snowing in our stadium in
We
Pittsburgh
got
and Baltimore,
wind
you
off
get
the
that wind
lake.
going on.
Yes.
You need to be able to grind and run the ball. And so maybe they're going to run more this year. I'm looking at their draft picks and who they got, on the offensive line, and they got some help, and maybe we'll be okay if we can stay healthy. Maybe they'll try to run the ball. We drafted 2 running backs this year, although you had Nick Chubb. We drafted 2 running backs, so maybe
Insane.
they're going to run the ball
Right.
some more, but we don't run the ball enough. We just don't.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree 100%. I agree.
All right.
Well, they're definitely going to have to make some changes. Big time, because now they're coaching for their jobs. I don't really believe that they should be at this point, because I'm like, once Jimmy Haslam was pushing for Deshaun Watson, I don't feel like that is, Kevin and Andrew Berry's, fault or anything like that. I believe that, once Jimmy was like, this is the guy I want, it buys them more time, because they were kind of
Um,
forced into it, whether or
okay.
not, huh?
Okay. But at the same time, when you have receivers who don't like your quarterback and won't catch for him, and your team won't play for certain guys, that's coaching. That's,
That's
you didn't fix your
coaching.
locker room, and that's your job as a coach, is to keep your locker room united. And they didn't do that. It doesn't matter what player you throw in there. I don't know. I
And
I
it's
think they should
year
be coaching
after
for their lives.
year after
Yeah.
year. It's year after year. I don't care who it is. They arguing on the sideline, all that. He has no, and it's just funny. I was talking to somebody who played for him when he was in Minnesota, and they said the same exact thing. Like, he didn't do that when he was there. He can't understand how he's a head coach because he does not have that leadership at all
Yeah.
for that. things that fly here in Cleveland would never fly in other cities on other teams because those coaches would never go for it. It's not option. You got one job on Sunday to go out there, catch balls, and win games. You don't get to choose who you gonna play for. Like, yeah, we're not
Right.
catching his balls today.
Are we talking
Yeah.
about a certain wide receiver and a certain quarterback and a tape that went out after a game with, point and click that, he was open on this play, he was open on that play? Are y'all referring to that?
Yeah, of
Yes.
course.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to check and make sure.
I just this is a year where I think we need to figure out the quarterback position. Period. Probably say that
Absolutely.
every year, but I look at this year. Baltimore's absolutely winning this division. Cincinnati, I don't know if they're going to get their self together or not. And Lord love Pittsburgh. They got Aaron Rodgers in that locker room. I don't know if Mike Tomlin is man enough to handle the drama that is
That
Aaron
is
Rodgers.
drama. That's drama.
That drama is going to be, there's going to be a llama drama all up and down Pittsburgh. I think we're probably going to finish third or fourth in the division, and that's fine as long as I, number one, win more than 3 games. I got to do better than I did last year. And I want to know when next season ends who my starting quarterback is, because it's been a long time. I think 3 years out of the last 20, I've known who my starting quarterback was going to be. And that's not okay.
Because, like, what we on, like 50 quarterbacks since we've been back?
It's
I mean,
30
for a while
something.
with Baker Mayfield, you knew you had Baker. And then when they paid all that
Right.
money to Deshaun, and once his suspension was up, I'm like, all right, now we got Deshaun. And then he can't stay healthy. And I don't think his head is in it. I don't think he wants to. I don't think we don't play the kind of football they played when he was in college, or even that one good year he had in Houston. We play a completely different game. It doesn't play.
This not his system, number one. And
I
number
mean,
two,
you look at, go ahead.
go ahead. I think that now when he see all these people and listen to media hype, he's working hard to get back.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's over for him though. I just don't think he can't bounce back. They not gonna play for him. It's gonna be a wash, and he didn't get the support he needed up front. So now
Completely agree. So he
that
needs to
is
fight
tough.
to get back and look good for just enough time that another team will want him. Because we're at the end of his contract. I think this year's the last year or one more after this. They restructured and then I lost track.
This is our last year with him.
So then he wants to go play somewhere else where he'll be better. I mean, I look at Baker Mayfield. I look at Sam Darnold. I look at Jared Goff. They all ended up in a different system and did really well. And so we just haven't been the right system for any of the quarterbacks that we've drafted in the last 20 years.
Exactly. Right.
You got to be the right system for somebody. I cry at our scouts.
But to our
they know what
defense,
they're doing.
when we got Baker was arrogant. He was young.
Yes.
He was more concerned with making commercials. They made him think like this was really his city. And he was more of a hindrance to us than he was a help. Like, go get the surgery.
Yeah,
No,
we
you're gonna
taught him to be humble.
Right.
He's got a level of humble in Tampa Bay that he didn't have here.
Never did he have.
So they can thank us for that.
Right.
Well, remember he on his 4th team too, so
right.
That was a little bit of humble pie.
Correct.
So
Correct.
but I thought Baker was the right quarterback at that time with with that franchise. How he had a little toughness to him, and your team is coming off a 1-31. So you kind of needed that tough quarterback that had confidence in himself, that could bring this city, that could give this city something to believe in. And Baker gave that. How they handled the injury situation was terrible, because that's what they do, is they handle injuries terrible, with the Nick Chubb injury and with all injuries, and not David Njoku, but Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They're not good at handling injuries, and Baker probably should have had that surgery. But
we go back to leadership. though, because they should have set him down and told him he had to go have surgery.
Thank
Like
you.
you telling me I'm not, you're not going to have surgery, right? You're going to keep playing. Who's the coach? Where's the leadership come into play and say, no, you're not. You're hindering the team. You have a
Yeah,
torn rotator and you need to go get your shoulder fixed. You can't throw a ball. No, I'm going to lead the team. That's crazy.
that's crazy. That he says he's fine and he wants to play, and they go, okay. Rachel, we talk about this all the time. Rachel and I were at a Thursday night game where Case Keenum started because Baker was hurt. And the next and Case Keenum won that game. And so we had Sunday off, right? Because we played on Thursday. The
Right.
next upcoming game was Baltimore. And I said, Baker needs to sit another week. He is not right. He needs to sit out. He needs to get healthy. They need to figure out what to do with him. And Baker was like, no, I want to play. And he came in that Baltimore game and got hurt and was done. And that whole time, I think the only reason I remember it, Rachel, is because we were actually at that game, is thinking he needs to sit another week. And then when the coaches are like, well, we talked to him and he said he could play. I'm like, I mean, I want you to be a man. I want you to be like, okay, I'm hurt, but I got this. I can go in. But hurt
But you,
is
when
not
do
the
you put
same
your
as
team
injured.
first? When do
When
you
you're
put your team
injured,
first?
you're right. When you're injured, you're hindering your team. There's a difference. And I think maybe in the locker room, there's a lot of confusion on if you're a man, you'll get in there and play. But if you're actually injured to where it hinders your team, it ain't about being a man. It's about taking care of your injury and letting the team, next man up for you while you get right. And I don't know if there's still some of that manly stuff going on, because that seems to be a thing with guys. Is, oh, I'm fine, I can go in. It's like, no, you can't. You're not okay. Get healthy. Jacksonville done a terrible job of that with Sunshine, with Travis down there. They keep letting him come back too soon, and he ain't right. We saw it with Tua down in Miami. How many concussions does he have to have before you just sit him for a whole season? Apparently
I say it all the time on our show. They waiting for him to be talking about his name is radio in 1 minute. That's exactly what he's waiting on. Because
I still ain't seen that movie yet.
What?
Rachel, she ain't seen any movies.
Oh my God, Rachel.
I can't even talk about movies with Rachel.
Yeah, that is that situation is absolutely insane right there, because that's what his is. But that leadership is absolutely terrible. And then the other thing I always say, I think our strength and conditioning department is terrible too, because why do we have so many injuries? Like, what is wrong with you? Why do y'all pull a hamstring every game, somebody out every week, your finger hurt,
what are you doing in the off season? Because they should have diets, they should have strength and conditioning coaches, they should have training things that they do every day in the off season. You're on your own. Here's what we want you to do. You should come into camp ready to go, not 50 pounds overweight. And then your program should be such that you can play a whole game. When we
and not giving them no option of having you get Monday and Tuesday off, long as you come in and lift. No, that's not an option.
No, one of the things I love when I go down to Canton for Hall of Fame is talking to some of the old football players that played in like the 70s and 80s and asking them what they think about the training camp schedule now. And they just laugh. They did 2-a-days in the heat in full pads. Like when they talk about, and they didn't make a third or a quarter of the money these young guys are making now. When you get them on a roll complaining about how light these guys are and looking at how much they practice and stuff compared to what they had to do back in the day, it's hilarious.
But I mean, look at the high school kids practice twice a day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we even did field hockey twice a day when I was in school, so we had 2-a-days.
They just have too much money invested in them. They don't want them getting hurt in practice, pulling a LaCharles Bentley and blowing out your knee on your first snap at training camp. But the problem is you paid them too much, and now you don't condition them so that you can get a season out of them. Some of these guys I'm watching looking for oxygen in the fourth quarter. I'm like, you can't run for a whole game. You're not a rookie. It's not week 16. It's week 1 through season, and you're gassed already.
Right. I agree.
Why aren't we coaching a team?
Right.
I did it all the time. I just need an hour. I need to be I want to do a locker room halftime speech sometime. I want an hour at camp to just address the team and have some words.
Yeah.
They might listen to you. Who knows?
Who knows?
So Stacy, where were you at for your prediction for this team?
So I'm going to go with six. I'm at six this
It's a
season.
tough
Mm.
schedule, Rachel. We haven't played
It's
the schedule
tough.
game yet. It's a tough schedule. We got to play two divisions that sent two or three teams to the playoffs last year. Like, how did we
We
get this?
have to win at home. We got to
Yeah,
win our home opener. We have to win at home.
yeah, that is, and that's our best chance of getting Cincinnati is at home week one, while they're still trying to figure out their mess, and maybe week two, Baltimore. I don't know. That's going to be brutal because they got something to prove no matter where they play us. They've still got a little
Right.
bit of attitude with us. So I don't know.
Exactly.
Um, I think Joe Burrow has figured out Kevin Stefanski. Remember, he couldn't beat us.
Because we were so far in his head. I don't know why we were living rent free in his head, but we were. And I think he's shaking that off now.
Yeah, he took care of business twice last season.
Yeah.
So, cause Stacy, I know we was only going to have you 15, 20 minutes, but we 40 minutes into the show. And I'm like,
I know she
you know,
knows
if
what
you
this
want
is
to
like.
go,
You get
you
a group of girls
can.
talking football and time flies. All of a sudden you're
I
like,
know.
where did the time go?
I know, Stacey. If you want to stay here with us, that's fine. Because the next topic I was going to talk about, the breaking news today, is that the Cleveland, well, they don't have a name yet. They might use the Cleveland Rockers. I'm not sure, but today it was announced that Cleveland is going to be getting
The
a,
WM, right.
yeah, they're going to be getting a WNBA team. So this would be the second WNBA team that they have gotten. The first one was under Gordon Gund, who kind of consolidated and got rid of it to focus his efforts on the Cavs once he was the owner and LeBron was there. But now, they're talking about this team is coming in 2028. I'm like, that's 3 years from now. That's a long time. And Pittsburgh got a franchise, I think. Did Pittsburgh get one? Philadelphia and
I'm
Detroit.
looking
Okay,
at the
thank you.
list.
Yeah, Philadelphia and Detroit. Detroit have teams now. So that's gonna bring, I think, the league to 19 teams total. But
Mm.
like the one I think in Philly isn't coming until like 2030.
But what's
I'm
the
like,
hold
that's
up?
5 years
Why
from
about
now.
so long? What's
I
the hold up?
know. I'm like, they're ready to play now. I'm like, let's go.
Right.
So the expansion will take them to 18 teams,
18
Rachel.
teams. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because Golden State got the Valkyries this season.
Yeah. Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly are the three that are confirmed. It'll be fun because we try to talk about all that drama going on with Angel Reese and Caitlin
Mhm.
Clark, and everybody around here is like, who? I'm like, I know, because we don't have a team, so y'all don't watch it, but it's some good basketball. I will say it's some good basketball. So I'm excited. I hope they stay with the Rockers just because that's a fun name. And I
Mhm.
still can't figure out what the Guardians are. It's like a bridge thing. I don't get it for the Indians, but I'd
Oh,
like a name.
we gonna get on
We
them
know
too.
something about Cleveland and we rock. So the Rockers is a cool name.
I think so. I think so.
And it's been long enough. They left in 2003. So it's not like I'm going to go get my old Rockers jersey out of a tub in the basement and put it on them. I had to buy all
I
new
don't
gear.
even know. Right. I
So
don't even know where Rockers Nothing is. I'm sure it was donated.
I'm sure mine was donated too. But it's like been long enough that people don't still have gear. I don't ever see anybody when I'm out and about wearing a Rocker shirt.
Mhm.
I see
Right.
those blue and orange Cavs ones from the 70s when they played at
Mhm.
Right.
Richfield Coliseum, but I don't see Rockers gear. So that's
Mhm.
all they're interested in when it comes to naming these teams. How much money can I make selling gear? Can I come up with a
Mhm.
cool logo that people will want to buy and wear? And so I don't think there's the name's a problem if we keep the old one, but they may come up with some super crazy name that don't make no sense to me, but they don't call and ask my opinion either. There's a whole lot of
Mhm.
people who should be asking me and Rachel's opinion. Stacey, we'll get you on the list of people they should ask our opinion, and they don't call us.
Right.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, it
all
was like,
people that just have money. Nobody that really knows sports or know nothing really that make the decisions.
Well,
It's
and
baffling.
it's one of the things that baffles me always is how the NFL is in particular is now all of a sudden they're interested in women because they have realized that we make a lot of the spending decisions for our families. So that
Right.
even if I was a stay-at-home mom for years. My husband went out and earned the money, but I made the decisions on the budget and what we could afford to do and what we could buy. And whatever your situation is, there are an awful lot of women who are in charge of the budget and the money in a household. And the NFL has finally figured out that. And now they're pandering to us with all of these things. I don't know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month drives me crazy because I'm aware. We're all aware. I did find out that they do auction off all that game worn stuff and donate that to breast cancer research. So I'm a little less salty about it than I used to be. But I used to be like, who are you trying to make aware? we're aware.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, I'm excited about the team. It was like the worst kept secret, though. You know, we knew that they were coming because Nick Bartlett, you know, who was like president of like
6 months ago, said we were getting a team.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we knew they were coming. We just wasn't sure when. But I'm like, another 3 years from now, I'm like, can we have it like?
Well,
are they?
They're going to play at the. What is it called now? The Gun, the Q, the Rocket Mortgage,
the field. It's some field house now. So
yeah,
Rocket Field House.
Yeah, Rocket, whatever. So I think part of the delay is also involves the NBA schedules, because if these teams are going to play at the same venue as an NBA team, they've got to coordinate schedules. They can't be scheduled on the same night. And some of these venues do hockey also, or concerts. And so I think it's going to take them a while to make sure they work with the right people to set up the schedules for that first season. So they're not, you can't have a Cavs game the same night as a Rockers game. And we have the Lake Erie Monsters. So we have hockey here in Detroit. They've got the Pistons and the Red Wings competing for, court time. So I think that's part of why and I think Philly, the 76ers play the same place that the Flyers hockey team plays. So that's probably where they'll play. So I think that's maybe what complicates it and makes it take so long. But I don't know how they'll do a draft. In the NFL, I know when we have an expansion team, there's an expansion draft and they can pick players from other teams. But I don't know how that works in the NBA. I don't know what their plan is for how they get players, or if they just show up at the college draft and get extra picks. I don't know how any of that's going to work. It'll be interesting to see.
I'm looking forward to
Caitlin Clark here in 3 years.
Angel Reese.
They both be looking for new homes. Their rookie contracts will be over. That's why we need to start watching more games now and focusing on who's going to be available in 28 for us to try to go get them.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited, and they both draw a crowd, because isn't Angel Reese doing the WNBA and a league where there's 3 people on the court?
Those 3-on-3 leagues,
huh?
The 3-on-3 league.
Yeah,
I don't know. I know she was doing WNBA. Can you do both?
I don't know.
I thought she was looking at doing both because they were doing them in the off season. And then there was some drama with the team saying they didn't want their players participating in the 3-on-3 because what if they get injured? And I don't know where they ended up settling on that, but there was some talk about it. I'm trying to Google real fast. She has joined the unrivaled 3-on-3 women's basketball league.
That's it. Are they playing right now too?
I'm looking. She is the latest star to sign on for 3. She's the 10th WNBA star to sign on to play.
Okay. Well,
so this was last season, but I don't know what season. I don't know what time of year they play. I know it ain't on TV here.
Yeah.
Or I would have found it. I found curling. I find darts. I find all kind of flag football. I found all kinds of some weird sports channels here. I can't find the Cavs without a road map in my phone to figure out what channel it's on, because it moves around all the time.
All the time.
It's one of the things I like about football. I got 3 channels to choose from. It's on one of those, or it isn't on.
Right.
Pretty much the Browns are on CBS.
Yeah.
So
I think our entire season next year, except for the Europe game, they're all 1:00 games. Like
Girl,
it's
there's like
about
Because
time.
we
two
didn't get
two
no
Please,
four
prime
twenty
time
please
fives.
games.
do not put me on at 8:30 on a Thursday with everybody. Please do not give me a primetime game. I don't know.
We didn't get no primetime games this year. We did not
No.
get
Yeah,
one.
two 430 425 games. And then the last one is subject to being able to be flexed.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know what our record would have to be for them to flex that game?
Girl.
Like we'd
The
have to
Browns
like
might surprise y'all and actually win more games than y'all think.
I I I hope so, but I cannot go into another season predicting 500 and getting 3. I can't. I don't have enough emotional sports bank left with, with what the Cavs just did to me in the playoffs. I can't. With whatever that crap is that baseball team is putting on the field right now, I don't have any emotional. I got my Buckeyes
Mm-mm.
in their little nugget of their protected shell of love,
I swear.
and everybody else is just killing my emotional vibe, my sports emotional bank, and I don't have enough to be positive about the Browns before the season starts. I'll be the first one to be thrilled if I'm completely wrong at 5 or 6 wins and they win double digits or something. I'll be the first one to say I was wrong. But I
Yeah,
can't
my blood
let my
pressure
heart.
can't take it no more. Like that is, I tapped out on the Cavs during the playoffs. I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna have two teams to raise my blood pressure up every other day. Oh no. Mm-mm.
Second game against Indiana, I
Yeah,
was out.
yes, I
I'm like,
tapped
I
out.
can't.
That Sunday game, I
Yeah.
tapped
I'm like,
out.
I
I
don't know
said,
who
oh
these
no.
people are. This is
Right.
not the team I watched all season. I'm
Exactly.
I'm I'm
Yeah.
gonna go out. Somebody send me
Mm-mm.
alerts on my phone if something good happens. I
Yeah,
couldn't.
no.
Well,
Mm-mm.
it was just a powerful lesson that, a regular season in basketball is completely different than playoff basketball. And we
It
got a
is.
chance to see that and learn our lesson. So while we on the Cavs, what do y'all think about the Lonzo Ball trade
I think it's horrible.
for
I think it's
Horrible.
for
horrible.
Isaac Okoro?
Horrible.
Horrible.
And I didn't watch a lot of basketball this year, but I think that is horrible. What did we get him
Well,
for?
one of the
He is
things you
not
could look at it
fixing
like
our
this.
problem.
I was gonna say it didn't fix our problem.
Can't
He's
fix it.
not what we need,
No.
and his daddy is a headache. Like, see, when they bring them headache parents and stuff, it come with a whole different circus and problem that
Yes.
you don't need. And we got enough of that going on. Like, no,
We got
uh.
Dion and but
Maybe
a big
Lonzo and
ball.
Dion will go keep each other busy. Rachel, you know I love Jarrett Allen, but he is too nice.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
is too
It's time
nice
for him
on
to
the
go.
Yeah,
court. He
he's
is too nice
soft.
off the court. I need
Yeah.
someone tall and mean in the post, and that's what the Cavaliers need. And this ball kid ain't fixing what's wrong. Why we didn't
He
get
ain't.
deeper in the playoffs.
Yeah. And they also Jared need to gain some weight. Because I feel like when they were out on the West Coast, he really got exposed by a lot of bigger centers. So, that was some of the issues that we were having. And, just to that in that Indiana series, Miles Turner exposed him. So, he pretty much was not effective, great. He played 82 games, which was a personal goal of his. That's wonderful. But, for him to not be a true not a contributor, but not an impact player for this team in the playoffs, and I questioned whether or not we could beat the New York Knicks as well,
Yep.
considering how we showed up against Indiana, because the Knicks were playing the same type of game too. They were playing a gutsy, brand of physical basketball. So, I questioned that. And then, with Oklahoma City having the best defense in the NBA, we struggle because we have, a smaller backcourt, taking the ball inside, and we struggle with doing that against Indiana. So there was a lot of deficits that this Cleveland Cavaliers team had, and I don't know if Alonzo Ball was the answer, but one of the things I look at is this team pretty much was healthy all year except for going into the playoffs, with him not playing as many minutes as he's been expected to play in the past. Could he possibly get rest and be effective that way, not having to play as many minutes with the Cleveland Cavaliers, getting rest, and nobody playing over 30 minutes a game and stuff like that.
The other thing is with them, it was a lot of inconsistencies we saw as well too. When the injuries came, a lot of exposing of
Yeah.
who, what you
Yep.
need, and dependency came out as well.
Yeah, I love Kenny Atkinson. I love what he did with this team last year, but he is clearly a regular season coach. You got to coach differently in the postseason, and he didn't. That Indiana game where we had Donovan and Darius and who else sitting on the bench didn't even dress. Didn't even, like, I get that you're injured, but you know what? I'd have dressed him. I'd have sat him. Maybe I wouldn't have started him, but I would have at least had him dressed so that the other team has to constantly worry, are they going to put one of them guys in? When they're in
Especially
street
over a
clothes,
finger.
yeah,
A
when they're in street
finger,
and a
you
toe,
could have
when they're
been
in street clothes, they're not
playing.
coming in for a minute. And you got to the end of that game that was so close, and everybody else was gassed. And they're used to it being the other way around. Our bread and butter this season was wearing out the opponent. So their star, who had to play 40 some minutes, was so tired by the fourth quarter that we could have a small backcourt and we could run them around them because we were all still fresh because we were doing that. And all of that got exposed with the injuries and just Rachel, I don't care if Jared puts on more weight. He's not mean enough to play in the post against some of these teams. I just need him a little more gritty on the court. And he's too nice.
They
And I don't
just
want
was
to change
too
him.
soft on
I
me
love
because
him.
I just could not think that some of Michael Jordan, a Larry Bird, they would have played with a splint on their finger.
Yes.
Like that
Yep.
little bit, your finger.
This is the playoffs. This isn't a regular season game in August where you can sit out a couple and then come back and be fine. This is win or go home. You don't
Right.
want to give them anything on your home court. You want to keep that home court
Baker
advantage.
played with a
Win your
torn
four and go.
shoulder.
Right.
Well, ladies, that's our time. So everything was so fun and we had a good time. I didn't even realize what time it was. And then I look up and I'm like, oh my God, it's time to end the show. So Stacey, I want to thank you so much. Congratulations on the national conference that's going to be here. You're going to see me. And Kate, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. And we are out of here.
Thank you.